Before I start this review, let me just start off by saying that my rebooking of WrestleMania 18 was a little botched, I could say. I mean, I pretty much gave you my entire card, but I wasn't sure if I gave you exactly who won the main event, which, of course, the main event was Stone Cold versus Hulk Hogan. Obviously, I would have given that win to Stone Cold Steve Austin. I almost said Hulk Hogan. Whoops. And then I would have that big moment that originally happened with Rock and Hogan, with the outsiders turning on Hogan, and then eventually Hulk Hogan turns Hulkamania back. That would have been a great moment. And yeah, let me just say that I forgot to mention that, and I'm pretty sure you guys would have predicted that I would have done that no matter what. But now let's get on to a rebooking of a WrestleMania that was good, but it's not as great as people say it is. WrestleMania 20 had a good vibe. It was where it all begins again. I love the video package. Actually, my favorite video package of WrestleManias was either WrestleMania 20 or WrestleMania 19. Those are phenomenal video packages that made WrestleMania feel special. And this show, while it had a good vibe, it had a good feeling, it had lots of fun, I don't think it was as great as people say it is, because if you actually sit through WrestleMania 20, there's only like 3 or 4 matches that were good, and only 1 or 2 matches stuck out for years to come, and one of them we're not even supposed to remember due to the Chris Benoit incident, but that's besides the point. I think the entire show should have been done slightly better. Plus, I'm gonna take my glasses off because it's raining and it got foggy as hell. We had Goldberg and Brock on this show originally, and it was a clusterfuck and a dud because both guys were leaving, so there was no point of giving a crap anymore about any of these guys. And I felt like they should have been booked in separate matches so it could at least be carried to a good ass match. Also, why did The Rock come back just to reform the Rock and Sock connection? I feel like him at WrestleMania 19 could have been his last hurrah until he came back for WrestleMania 27, which would lead to WrestleMania 28 and 29. Also, Stone Cold Steve Austin, he could have made an appearance on WrestleMania 20. I'm saying you could bring legends, you could bring people in the show, but you don't have to like completely make him feel too much. And another thing, WrestleMania 20 was one of the longest WrestleManias of all time, behind WrestleMania 32. But holy shit, was this show long as hell. Also, it had Undertaker and Kane, which was short as hell and really disappointing. You know, a lot of stuff that I didn't like about the show, but you know, the vibe and the spectacle gives it better, makes the show better. And personally, I felt like the entire show should have been better. This show should have been a 10 out of 10, one of the greatest shows of all time. And personally, this is how I would have booked the show. And I'm not saying that my show is going to be a 10 out of 10, but I just hope that you guys would enjoy what I got to say about this show. I'll kick it off with the Royal Rumble. I would keep similar shit here and there, obviously. And then the only thing I would change is the Royal Rumble part where Goldberg gets attacked by Brock Lesnar, because I would not do Brock and Goldberg at WrestleMania 20, and also I would not do when the bell for Undertaker rang and Kane was freaking out. That should have been the Return of the Dead Man. I know you guys wanted him to return in WrestleMania 20, but I feel like Kane and Undertaker, they're kind of old, and I could have sworn that they could have done something better with them. And I'm pretty sure they could have just finished off the feud somewhere around WrestleMania. So, anyways, this is how I would have booked it. Basically, keep Royal Rumble the same, just with those little things that I changed. And No Way Out, I would actually book this card. I would have Brock Lesnar versus, I don't want to say Hardcore Holly. I would probably, actually, I don't think I would actually book Brock Lesnar to even fight on the show, unless you guys could think of somebody to put him against. But the two big main events I would have for No Way Out, first of all, if it's No Way Out, how is it that we didn't get a steel cage match or a Hell in a Cell match? That just fucking pissed me off. So I made a Hell in a Cell match between Undertaker and Kane, a match that we should have gotten a long ass time ago, but better late than never. And at least it's in a more modern time. Thankfully, it won't be like 2010 where these guys were old and just didn't know what to do. Just gotta conclude the feud and then have Undertaker beat Kane, so then that culminates their feud, and then Undertaker goes on to do something else at WrestleMania 20. And the main event, I would actually have a fatal 4-way to determine the number one contender for Brock Lesnar's WWE Championships. The participants would be Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, Big Show, and John Cena. And I will make it a fatal 4-way elimination. Have Big Show and Cena get eliminated because, reasons. And then I would have the final two be Eddie and Kurt, which I would have Eddie lie, cheat, and steal his way to the win, just so he could build up Brock and Eddie. And then Brock could be like, even though you lie, cheat, and steal, you can't beat the Lesnar because I am a beast. I don't know. I don't think he called himself the Beast in 2004 around this time, but he was dominant. That's that. And I think that would be a great Mania match that we could have had. So you kind of get a hint of what the card of WrestleMania 20 might look like. So let's kick it off with John Cena versus the Big Show for the United States Championship. I know this match actually happened. I know the match sucked, but that moment of John Cena picking up Big Show and throwing him with an AA was a really good moment, and him winning the U.S. Championship. I like that moment, actually. I know a lot of people hate that moment, but I mean, you can say shit about the match. I don't mind that, but the moment is what made that really special for me. Next up, I will have the Dudleyz, the Raw World Champions, the World Tag Team Champions, versus the World's Greatest Tag Team, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And I would just have this be a solid enough good match just to say we have tag matches here and there. And I think it would be a pretty solid ass match. I think you guys would enjoy it, and hopefully it'll be great. And plus, I will have the Dudleyz win just so you could build up a feud between Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, where Shelton Benjamin eventually becomes the star that he was in 2004, 2005, and 2006. Hell, even 2007. You know what I'm saying? Shelton Benjamin could have been the star right after this. Next up, I'll have Chris Jericho versus Christian. I would keep the exact same feud, the exact same match, the same, because this was one of the highlights of the entire show. Besides, of course, what actually happened on WrestleMania 20. This was one of the better things that happened at that show, and I would actually keep everything the exact same way with Christian and Trish making out at the end, all that good stuff. I will have that. I think that would be a perfect way to have that. Next up, I would have Randy Orton versus Mick Foley, because Randy Orton and Mick Foley started their feud at the Royal Rumble when Mick Foley interfered, and at the Royal Rumble, and then he took on Randy Orton and all that good shit, and I would continue that feud all the way leading to WrestleMania. I would not have Evolution versus the Rock and Sock Connection, and I know what you guys are thinking. What about Batista? What about Ric Flair? I got something for them. And again, no Rock. I don't think the Rock needed to be on the show. Personally, I'm sorry, but that's just how I felt. There was no reason to bring the Rock. He could have done a Hollywood movie, even though 2004 Dwayne The Rock Johnson was shit as far as movies. I'll stop talking about The Rock, but I would have Mick and Orton have their match. Actually, I would have their match that they had at Backlash. That exact same match, only without the interference. I think Randy Orton could beat Mick Foley and be a big legend after beating Mick Foley here. And then, I would have someone come up to Randy Orton and interview him oh my gosh. Oh, by the way, I should have mentioned, this is for the Intercontinental Championship, just so you guys know. But that someone walks up to him, maybe Lillian Garcia or someone like that. They're like, oh my goodness, Randy, you just won your first ever WrestleMania match. And then he'll cut a promo like this and that. And then he for now on, you guys could call me Randy Orton, the Viper. No, not the Viper, the Legend Killer, because this was around the time he was the Legend Killer. He beat the Hardcore Legend, so he eventually takes on other legends like Undertaker, Hogan, Flair. I believe he fought Flair around here in 2004. I remember in Taboo Tuesday 2004. I remember in a steel cage. Yeah, I think they would keep that vibe of the way Randy is, and this would be a perfect way to build him up. This next match, you could have it or you cannot have it, but I would just have it just to rest the crowd and at least keep some people happy. The evening gown match that actually happened at WrestleMania 20. I know a lot of you guys are going to probably call me a sexist pick. I'm not saying this match has to happen, but I would just have it just so you could rest the crowd after just witnessing the best match of the night so far. Just resting them. Then I would have an interpromotional match. I love when they did this Raw versus SmackDown. I love when they did that Raw versus SmackDown thing, and I would have Kurt Angle turn face and fight Batista. I'm pretty sure I would probably end up turning Kurt Angle back as a heel sometime in during the year, but not. I think this is like the only thing I got for him. Kurt Angle versus Batista. I think this will be a really good match. I think Kurt Angle could carry Batista to a good match. At this time, Batista was. I'll have Ric Flair on Batista's corner. I don't think Ric Flair really needed to wrestle this show, and I would have Batista win just to build up a new star. And Kurt Angle, if he loses, it won't matter. I mean, he was gonna lose at Mania 20 anyway, so why not? So there's that. Next up, I'll have the Cruiserweight Championship opener. Again, I'm keeping similar shit from WrestleMania 20, similar, because there's some stuff that wasn't that bad. Just you could say filler, but it was like good filler, just so we could rest the crowd. And this would be a perfect way to do it with a small little Cruiserweight Championship opener. And I would actually have Rey Mysterio win just so we could build up a feud between Chavo and Rey. I would think that would be a really good feud for Chavo and Rey. I'll have Rey Mysterio win this on this night because Rey Mysterio is a hometown hero. Obviously, I would give him the win. And I think it will be fun for what it is. Next up, I will have a match that should have happened at WrestleMania. Instead, we got it at another pay-per-view, and that is Brock Lesnar versus Eddie Guerrero. This could have been the best way to get rid of Brock Lesnar. I would have the exact same match just without Goldberg interfering. I would have this match go on, and it would be a great moment. And hell, if Goldberg did not interfere and Eddie were to actually beat Brock Lesnar clean, chances are this could have been a 5-star classic. Honestly, I'm being dead honest. So, and I would have that big moment of Eddie Guerrero holding the championship and Brock Lesnar says goodbye to the fans, and there you go. There's that. Actually, like, I think this is, you don't have to do this, what I'm about to say, but if it were to happen, it would be not that bad. If you really wanted Stone Cold to be on the show, I would have Brock Lesnar just walk up like, fuck this, fuck WrestleMania. Like, I remember, like, he actually did. He, like, throw the middle fingers, and then Stone Cold comes in, gives a stunner to Brock Lesnar. That's how you get rid of him. And then he celebrates with Eddie. You don't have to do that, but, I mean, it would be a good thing. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Had to pick up some stuff. Next match, I would actually have The Undertaker in the match that I did not... match that I'm actually shocked never happened. And this would have been the perfect way to book it, but Undertaker versus Goldberg. Now, everybody who knows me knows that I'm not the biggest Goldberg fan. But if I were to choose a match for Goldberg ever, that I would really want to see is Goldberg and The Undertaker. Two undefeatable icons going on at WrestleMania, and I could have the story of Goldberg saying this is going to be my last match. Why don't I go after the guy who's been undefeated at WrestleMania? After all, I've been undefeated ever since I came back. Technically, he wasn't, but you know what I'm saying. And it would be a pretty solid match. I mean, I give credit where credit's due. Goldberg may not be the best wrestler, but he could have a solid-ass match with The Undertaker. I mean, and it's at Madison Square Garden. Can you imagine the money this match would have sold alone for Mania? Holy shit, that would have been incredible, like, the amount of money. And it could be a really good match. Like I said, I'm giving credit where credit's due. And because of that, the crowd would be so fucking tired. So I would book another match that actually happened at the real WrestleMania 20. And that would be Victoria versus Molly Holly in the hair versus hair match. It was a funny moment. I didn't hate it as much as people did, but it would be really funny to just see what happens. I think that would be really funny and really fun to watch. Also, I would keep the main event for WrestleMania 20 because without the WrestleMania 20 match, who the hell knows where me and other wrestling fans would have been. Because without the triple threat match that we got at WrestleMania 20, holy shit, half of us would not even be around here. This match changed people's lives. I mean, this is by far the greatest triple threat match of all time. Nothing will ever top it. You could have three of the best cruiserweights have a 5-star classic, and nothing will ever top Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit. What they did in WrestleMania 20 was just breathtaking, and it's easily the best thing that these three guys have ever done in a triple threat match. No other triple threat will ever top this, bar none. And I would keep it the exact same story with Chris Benoit saying, you know what, nothing says that I have to go after the WWE Championship. Why don't I go to Raw and go after World Championship? Plus, we could have the last man standing with Triple H and Michaels. You know, that never ended completely. And it would be a really fucking amazing match. Again, if you've seen the match, you know, why not? And easily, it would be a great moment. Despite everything, you know, because you can't predict that Chris Benoit would do what the fuck he did. But, him holding the championship, that moment with him and Eddie was great, despite what Benoit ended up doing years later. I think that would be a great way to close WrestleMania 20, because the show is where it all begins again, and this would be a perfect way to build new stars. I built John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista, Christian, who else did I build? Eddie Guerrero, and Chris Benoit. That's like 7 guys already. If you want to say Rey Mysterio, fine. But yeah, those are 7 guys I built. 7 to 8 guys I built, and this single WrestleMania. Granted, you know, some stuff you might say was and maybe you guys want to just keep WrestleMania 20 the way it is. This is personally how I would have booked it. If you guys enjoy this video, I really thank you guys for it. If you guys want to say fuck you, then that's whatever. I really don't care. But yeah, I just wanted you guys to know that WrestleMania 20, the original one, not this rebook thing that I just did. I enjoyed it. It's just, you know, if the undercard was a lot better and not everything was just shoved at you just so you get everybody involved at Mania, it could have been a really solid. It would have been one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time on my book. But I don't know what you guys think. Comment down if you guys enjoy that. It's me, the ALE Double X Prince, continuing Double X Mania. The card down below. It's just it's down there. Next WrestleMania I'm gonna rebook is actually a WrestleMania that had one of my favorite matches of all time, but everything else was kind of shitty, and I want everything else to be just as good. So if you guys know what it is, well, you'll be shocked. If you don't, you'll be shocked then. But until then, it's me, the ALE Double X Prince. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And until then, I'm out.